Great. Well, thank you all so much. Hopefully audio is coming in just fine tonight. Everything Kenzie just shared could very well have been on my speaker's notes. So I am super excited to take a slightly different approach right now to sharing, because I believe that we have an opportunity. I believe that we have an opportunity to highlight our district in ways that would make many other districts jealous. And that opportunity is to have all of you winning speech contests. See, I believe that we have the talent here in this virtual room and across our district to become the express route to winning the World Championship of Public Speaking. And I believe that's because you're different, right? So the folks on this line, you don't just want to compete, you want to win. And my goal for tonight is to be able to provide some food for thought for you by sharing my experience from this past contest season. I'll share with you the mindset that I adopted as a part of that contest. I'll share with you the mantras that guided my journey, and then a little bit about the mentors that showed me the way. And I'll do that paired with 3 lessons that I've also learned across this journey this past year, because this was my first year competing in the international speech contest. And the numbers don't lie. 30,000 Toastmasters began this year's international speech contest journey that ended this past Saturday with Mike Carr being crowned the victor, a truly deserving champion. But with odds like that, it's imperative for a competitor to have the appropriate mindset. Mine came from studying past champions. You see, their methods, their styles, their stories were all different, but to a person, they all said that that in order to win the speech contest, you actually have to forget about winning the speech contest. See, focus on winning, and according to the odds, you'll likely wind up disappointed. Instead, they shared, your mindset should be to focus only on the things that you can control. Now, the only thing that I could control this year was telling Nora's story, my daughter, telling her story as well as I possibly could. And so that became then, and remains today, my singular mindset. Now, all competitors need a mantra, right? Football is a game of inches. Row the boat. There are so many catchphrases and cliches that come from sports that make many a fine mantra, but my mind kept going back to that famous saying by Marshall Goldsmith, which was, what got you here won't get you there. In short, that means continuous improvement is key. And 2010 world champion David Henderson shared a similar message. In a recorded lecture that I had found, he shared to a group of Toastmasters what became my second lesson, which is bad writing trumps good oration. You see, your ability to progress in the contest comes from your ability to continue to improve. And what he was sharing was that in every club contest, you can get by. You might be able to get by just on sheer force of personality. But in order to continue to progress, writing becomes the key. Now, I'm not a gifted writer, so for me, that process involved 37 separate revisions. I was mostly doing it on my own by trial and error, which, if I had a support team, I know could have been condensed quite considerably. We're also so fortunate as Toastmasters to have so many folks that give their knowledge freely. There were many mentors that guided my journey digitally. See, being so isolated, I had to resort to 21st century communications. In particular, past champions David Henderson and Aaron Beverly have amazing YouTube videos and channels that help folks to identify how to create a compelling story, how to understand the speech contest process, and then just sort of how to navigate those emotions. Aaron in particular even talked about how to navigate inside of a Zoom environment or inside of a Zoom square, both of which I leaned on heavily. And then, of course, there are the performances. You can find just about every international speech contest winning speech. And then over the last 20 years, many of the second and third place finishers. And then, of course, winners from other districts and areas and divisions from across the world. And all of those performers, they became my mentors. Because you see, the third lesson that they taught from the stage was that the messages that resonate most are the ones that are given with the heart, that also serve your audience. And then by that, you'll find your reward as a speaker. Now, sadly, I didn't get the call to advance. What got me to the regionals did not get me to the semifinals. In fact, I just received my participant certificate for the quarterfinals as this meeting kicked off. But you know what? That's okay, because I haven't stopped learning lessons and listening to mentors. Like Janet, who's actually happens to be here in this meeting. Janet, thank you so much for reaching out to me afterwards. Thanks to her feedback, thanks to the feedback of countless others, and by heeding these lessons learned, Nora's story, my Nora's story today, is even more powerful than it was back in May. I'll be ready to share her story if I'm ever lucky enough to someday advance onto that world stage. But fellow contest goers, you can do the same. Commit to a mindset of delivering the highest quality message possible. Remember that what got you here won't get you there, and follow the wisdom of our ever-growing tribe of mentors. Yeah, I felt a pang of disappointment watching this year's semifinals, because I know that I belong on this stage. And I also know that you all belong on this stage, because throughout this journey this past year, you all have inspired me. So, and the winner of this year's district speech contest is you. Congratulations, you did it. Madam Toastmaster, fellow contest goers, I cannot wait to take that journey with you, whichever contests you choose to enter this year. If I can, I'll be cheering you on, and even if it's like, this year, mostly via jazz hands, but someday soon, I believe this in my heart, District 106 will raise that big trophy, and then we'll raise it again and again. And by starting this club, I believe that we can do it together. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I appreciate you.